Today we're with Rys Armstrong, who has this project that is so interesting that I can't wait to learn about it. I don't know that much about it, so I'm going to let Rys tell us about himself and the project. Rys, tell us a little bit about who you are and how this all came to be.
Yeah, of course. Well, first of all, thanks so much for having me, Susanna. It's so nice to be with you virtually in our world of Zooms these days. So I am working on this project for the Actors Fund called #BWay World Record Challenge. And we are trying to make it go virtual on the TikTok and the social medias to try to break a Guinness World Record title for the largest online video album of people singing the same song. It's a mouthful, but pretty much what we have to do is collect 5,000 videos into one centralized location, and we break the record. By doing that, it hopefully, similar to the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge, our goal is to hopefully create awareness for the fact that Broadway is one of the only industries that have been completely shut down and aren't allowed to come back because we can't do theater unless there's an audience, and the audience can't be physically in the space unless people are vaccinated and it's safe to do so. So unlike TV and film, which has been, coming back slowly with regulations and, medical policies, it's impossible for us. So there's been billions of dollars lost in revenue for New York City. It's like, as they say, I think there was a New York Times article that came out that said tourism is not going to come back until 2025. It's not safe for the actors. There's so many shows have closed. 6 on Broadway had their opening night on March 12th, 2020, which was supposed to be like these 6 women. It's like Broadway debuts. And yeah, they got that evening is when it shut down. Mm-hmm. So it's been hard times. And so we're trying to create a social media campaign to not only raise awareness and funds for the Actors Fund, their COVID-19 relief, but also establish a precedence that theater in person matters and that Broadway will come back stronger and better than ever and more diverse and more inclusive. So this is kind of a project that's dedicated to the dreamers of Broadway. Think about all those kids that are in college programs, high school programs that we're going to move to New York and do the thing. And then, they're not able to. So that's our goal and our initiative, and we're trying to do it.
Well, I didn't think I was going to get controversial in this interview, and who knew that was going to head there? Because I think one of the things that people don't know is that either Cuomo, de Blasio, or the government has something against Broadway because it is the only industry that has not been given grants and not been included in all the packages, and yet nobody seems to talk about this, which I just find completely bizarre.
Yeah. And yet we have the Super Bowl, so it's,
No, but like even when they gave money to theaters, Broadway was not included in this. We were the only ones when it came to getting people together to discuss with Cuomo where the money for the arts was coming. Not one Broadway person was invited.
Mm-hmm.
So I think,
and Save Our Stages went through, but that's more PPP loans, and it doesn't help the artist, doesn't help the stage manager that is out of a job. It does. Unemployment insurance is there, but how is this industry supposed to come back and reopen? It's almost been a whole year.
Well, and plus you have a mayor that has, and a governor, but mayor, who has made it so that tourism is not going to come back at the moment. When you commit a crime and you're just slapped on the hand and said, oh, go back out and commit more, it's a problem. So I agree that Broadway definitely needs help because everyone's ignoring it and no one's getting to the answer of why.
Mm-hmm.
But I have questions about your project.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so how many videos do you have already?
We are TikTok is an interesting playground because we've gotten a little bit momentum there, which is very exciting. We have about 750 so far collected, and I'm just finding that it's more difficult than I originally anticipated. And I've spoken with the people that did the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. I tried to get the inside scoop, and it just takes time to build an organic wave of interest. and it's already something people don't consider essential in the first place. So how do you get, people involved? Well, everyone knows The Greatest Showman. Everyone saw that movie, and while that hasn't been a Broadway show yet, our initiative is hopefully going to reach a wider audience than just the people that are theater fans and theater goers, people that are, first line responders, or people that didn't know that Broadway has been shut down and for this long, because it just hasn't been talked about in the mainstream media. So that's our goal, is to break out in that kind of impact.
Now I have a question. Why did you choose this song? Because until New Year's Eve, surprisingly enough, this is the one song I did not know from The Greatest Showman. And a little kid sang it to me. It's the only reason I know it.
Well, it's twofold. Originally, this project wasn't going to be what it is, and it's kind of naturally grown into what it wants to be, which I think is always the best thing. You have to listen to the baby and know, as it grows up, let it do its thing. But I was driving my brother. He got off the wait list from a medical school application, and I'm from Seattle. So we drove from Seattle all the way to St. Louis, Missouri in June, July, right in the middle of the pandemic. So it was definitely a scary thing to do, and just gas station to gas station. No one has masks on, and you just have to stay in the car. And it's just it was a crazy journey. But I was driving back from that adventure, and this song came on just in the radio, and I listened to it, and it starts so quiet and so intimate, and then it just gets so explosive with joy, and the lyrics, and we will come back home, and we will come back home again. I'm literally driving home back to Seattle, and yet I've been away from my home for 4 months in New York because the pandemic shut down my industry. And so I started crying in the middle of South Dakota. So that was the first inspiration of my listening to the song, and I just kept listening to it over and over and over again. And then as we were looking at doing just a regular music video for the song about the pandemic for the Actors Fund, at that time I had been in discussions with Guinness World Records, and they wanted to do a charity project, dedicated to Broadway. And so we, found this record and said, this is something we can possibly beat. And I said, okay, let's explore doing this song. And then Disney and Pasek and Paul, their publishers, gave us full, free, gratis rights to not only do the music video, but also use the soundtrack from the movie. So they've been so generous. And so how could we say no to something that's free for charity? And it just kind of worked its way out.
So tell people how they can become involved in this.
Yeah. Super easy. You just go to our production company website. So that's ryco.org, ryco.org/BWay World Record. That's it. Everything is there. Sheet music, the track. You can see all the other uploads. You can duet it on TikTok. You can see all the press clippings. Everything's there on that one landing page for you to read and learn about.
Now, I went there, and it says the deadline is February 28th. Are you going to extend that, or is that the deadline to get 5,000?
That's the deadline to get into this first music video. So we will be with Playbill. Came on as a co-producer, which we love Playbill. They are incredible people, and they love the Actors Fund as much as I do. And so we are going to be releasing a special music video version of the song on March 12th to commemorate the 1-year anniversary of the Broadway shutdown. And Playbill will have that exclusive, and you'll find all that information there. So if you want to be in that first rendition of the music video, we have to have that by February 28th so that the editors can put it into the music video.
Right.
But after that, it's going to be a rolling campaign until we hit 5,000. And then the second that happens, drinks on me.
How many people are you planning on putting in the first video?
We're hoping to put in about 500. I know we are roughly just under 750 right now. So if we can get more, that's great. But it all depends on bandwidth and what we are capable of bringing in. It actually takes a lot of computing power to put so many videos into one. So, it's a learning process, and you think, oh yeah, I can do it this way. And you learn, oh no, I can't do that this way. And also I can't afford a firm that wants to charge $25,000 to do that sort of thing. So this is a very grassroots movement. And And I think that's the people that we're going after. We have some Broadway stars lined up to be in the music video. And so that's cool that you can be next to them. And the concept of the music video, I'll give a little teaser if you want right
Yes,
here,
please.
is that we're going to be green screening those videos on Times Square screens in Times
Oh,
Square.
nice.
So you'll see yourself in Times Square singing next to Alice Ripley or next to blah, blah, blah. Some of the names we've already, dropped. But that push of that music video on March 12th will hopefully even push the campaign even forward, and get more celebrities involved, which will create more awareness, which will hopefully create more money. And hopefully by the time Broadway's back on its feet, we've broken the record.
Tell us a little bit about your background. Like, who are you?
I'm a measly actor in New York, who moved here in
Never
20...
say measly. Never put yourself down.
You're right. I should own it. Yeah, so I went to school in state in Washington State in the Pacific Northwest, got my BFA in musical theater, got it done in 3 years, and I was like, I'm moving to New York. It's happening now or else I'm never going to do it. So I moved to New York in 2016, been involved in 3 different off-Broadway shows and 1 national tour. And recently have been working on The Gilded Age for HBO, which is great TV film work. And it's kind of a shift for me during the pandemic. But yeah, so theater's always been my home, probably will always be my home. And since I'm trying to see what other ways and avenues I can create art in this art form, that started my production company about 7 years ago. I worked on this charity album. Oh, I think I have one here, called Crossroads. It was done by Squigs. I don't know if you know that artist. I did that charity album for Broadway Cares back in 2017. So that came out, and that kind of started my love of producing. And then from that project grew this entire company now, and we have 7 podcasts that are available. And yeah, so we're just slowly, it's kind of, I don't think there is many production companies that just focus on grassroots indie theater makers. And so that's where I want my work to be. I eventually want to produce commercially and on Broadway and see what that looks like, or as an actor be on Broadway. That would be amazing. But baby steps, and I want to help produce and help create art from that very early development stage, and then seeing where it can go from there, because there's a definite lack of that, of who are the young producers in the room. And I'm just kind of tired of revivals of old shows that we've seen again. And I also don't think, this is now just personal opinion, but I don't think that after the pandemic, a lot of people will feel comfortable coming back to the theater because it's so cramped, and we just went through a pandemic. So I think really right when shows start coming back, you're going to see a revival off Broadway of a lot of young people doing really cool theater. And that's where I want to be involved as a producer.
I think regionals are going to come back way.
Yeah, I think that too.
I think the problem with New York right now is tourism, and when you don't have a city that's safe, it's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that theater is the problem, because you can always do theater outside. You can do it in, like, Shakespeare in the Park can turn into a for-profit theater. But the problem is that until it's safe to be there, I think New York is going to have a problem.
Yeah, I agree.
So I'm constantly talking about it, because I think people need to wake up and see what the problem is. I don't think that we're really seeing it yet.
And I think people are waiting around to see what's going to happen, or they've just moved on. Like, people think these shows are just going to reopen after Labor Day. It's just like,
not happening.
They got to recast. The sets have been there derelict for a year. Someone has to make sure the automation still works, and has to make sure, costumes have to be refit. It's going to be millions of dollars of revenue and overhead that people aren't
aware of.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Where do you see yourself working while this is happening? Like, what is your game plan, knowing that there are pitfalls here?
As a theater actor or as a producer?
Both. No, both.
It's a great question. I mean, I have shows in development that I'm working on, that I'd love to see done as an outdoor pop-up experience. I think that has a lot of potential that it hasn't been used, and I think partnering with either corporate entities or entities that benefited from the pandemic but want to give back would
Right.
be a great way to do that. As an actor, I'm selfishly writing a one-person show because that's what I can handle in terms of a budget. Can't pay a lot of people, so I do my own thing. That show is called Neglect, and that's hopefully already has a space lined up for 2022. I haven't
Nice.
talked about that anywhere, but hopefully that will come to fruition. It's a very strange, fun, crazy, experiential show that can be done socially distant and walked into that space and then walked out, similar to like a museum piece or something like that. So it just kind of depends.
I think there's a lot of room for different kinds of theater.
Mm-hmm.
There was a piece years and years and years ago called Tamara,
Mm-hmm.
where it was actually done at the Armory, and you walked in, and you saw the first scene, but then you could choose to follow any of the other characters as it went from room to room to room to room as you were divided. I think a show like K-pop, the way that
Mm-hmm.
K-pop was originally
Which
done.
had an out of town in Seattle.
By the way, did you ever work at Seattle Rep?
I did not. No, I love Seattle Rep though. I've seen many, many, many shows there, and I have many friends that have worked there. I chose to leave the Seattle scene pretty early on, right after college. I could have spent time working that region, but there's only so many theaters and so many spots for actors there, and I was like, I could audition 2 times a month in Seattle, or I could audition 2 times a day in New York. So,
Yeah. Now, the good thing about Seattle Rep is a lot of their shows are brand new, so
mm-hmm.
they're developing to come to Broadway.
No, I
So
know. And if
it's.
any theater wants to hire me in Seattle, please.
Are you in New York now, or are you in Seattle now?
I'm in New York now. I go back probably twice a year just to visit family and do the good family member routine.
And again, tell people the website on how they can get involved in this.
Yeah, so we're on social media at Ryco Theatricals everywhere. That's RYCO Theatricals. All the links to our websites are there. And then the website directly is linked at ryco.org/BYWorldRecord. If you want to connect with me on social media, I'm at ByRyGuy, BYRYGUY. That's all my socials are that handle. So yeah, if you have any questions, you can email us at bwayworldrecord@ryco.org, and we answer all the emails. We just got an email from a school in Guam they asked for, we used to have these SATB charts, like the full arrangement of the 38-second cut for a choir to sing virtually, and then that would be 40 submissions of video if
Oh,
it
fabulous.
did that. And then we kind of streamlined it down to just one sheet music, so it's simpler, but we still have those tracks. So if there is a choir that wants to sing it, we can send it to you. But yeah, they were like, we would love this to be an SATB, and so then we sent it to them, and so hopefully we'll see that. We have we had an article posted in Broadway World Spain, so we have a lot of Spanish speaking singers doing the song but in Spanish. Our first submission was from Australia, so it's really crazy. Like, people love Broadway so much. They love Hugh Jackman, they love Disney, they love Greatest Showman, they love the idea of storytelling. So I think the scope is going to be way beyond just Times Square, 42nd Street, in our outreach.
Well, you're going to be very happy to hear that in our demographics, you will definitely be reaching India. And
Great.
don't ask me why, but Pakistan.
Listen, anyone can sing our cuts in any language they want. The only lyrics are, and we will come back home, and we will come back home again, repeated 4 times. So it can't get easier than that. So I'm really excited to see not only this music video that we're shooting and doing for March 12th to commemorate the 1-year anniversary. You're able to donate to the Actors Fund. You can do so directly at actorsfund.org/BWayWorldRecord, and that will count towards our matching donations. If you're unable to donate, then we ask that you submit a video, which costs no money to do and takes 30 seconds. It doesn't matter if you're a great singer. If you want to speak the lyrics, you can do it. We simply just need 5,000 people on 5,000 videos saying the words. So if you're willing to do that and put yourself out there, that helps our cause. And anyone can submit. So we look forward to seeing all the videos.
Thank you, Rye.